Good morning. Welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Free Press Media Press Inc., an alternative parties books publisher, sponsors this podcast. I'm Andrew Bouchard. Welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Today, friends, we have another exciting guest like we always have in this podcast. His name is Brandon, and he is with the Workers' Party. So welcome to the podcast, Brandon.
Thank you for having me.
Brandon, let's get started by you kindly giving us an introduction to yourself, a brief biographical sketch.
Sure. My name is Brandon Griffin. I am from South Shore, Massachusetts, which is pretty much anywhere from Quincy to Plymouth. I live in a town called Whitman. I am dabbling in some municipal type of politics, but my main goal is to advance the Workers' Party of Massachusetts political organization, which I have been a member of since about June 2021.
Sounds good. So kindly tell us how you got involved in the Workers' Party and also how the Workers' Party got started.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I got involved with the Workers' Party pretty much organically. I had done some activism. I've done a good amount of activism, but I was a former member of DSA,
Okay.
which is for the listeners, that's the Democratic Socialists of America, an organization which I left due to their politics and their leaning in towards the Democratic Party versus becoming their own party or even supporting socialist candidates. So I left that group while I was a new member of the Workers' Party. I had held both memberships simultaneously, but that didn't last very long. The Workers' Party itself got started in early 2020, and there were a few founders, DOMINIC, GIANNONE, who you spoke with, Casey, and a few others, and they decided, okay, let's build our party. Let's just do it. And then they got the signatures required, and became an official designation, which is different than an official party, but it is a recognized voter registration in the state of Massachusetts.
Oh, good. Good job. Good job getting that.
Oh, yeah, of course. That was a little before my time when they became an official designation, but starting in 2020, the growth has been pretty impressive, to be honest.
It sounds like it's been doing a lot since it started.
Yes.
So for our listeners out there, given your name, the Workers' Party, and also that you used to belong to DSA, they probably will conclude that the Workers' Party is a type of socialist party. Kindly explain the party ideology and what it means to you, how you describe it to people in our audience who may want to join or find out more about your party.
Okay, great. Yes. The Workers' Party. One moment,
Brandon?
please.
Okay.
Yes, I am here. Go.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so
Apologies, my phone just cut out for a moment.
no problem. So you said the ideology of the party is what now?
Yes. The ideology of the Workers' Party is a socialist, specific, independent political organization that is entirely separate from the two major parties. We want to push the socialist ideology, which is, of course, to hold an anti-capitalist, anti-war, anti-discrimination stance, as well as a pro-labor front, and to directly oppose the two major parties, which, of course, in Massachusetts, really there's one party because it's a liberal supermajority here. So the hostilities, if we face hostilities, generally they come from a larger point from the Democrats.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we are in closer competition, not closer competition, but when people look to things, if you're just someone who is a casual viewer or studier of politics, you think left is the Democrats and right is the
Sure.
Republicans, which of course is not true at all. They're both right-wing parties.
Sure. So what type of, I'm sorry,
yeah,
go ahead. I thought you
no,
go ahead.
that's okay.
What type of
I was
issues
finished
are,
there.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. We can now move on. Thanks.
Okay. So what type of issues are on your platform? Can you kindly give us an overview of your platform?
Yes, of course. All right. I can give you, let's see. I will give the immediate demands for time. The party program is available from A to Z on the Workers' Party website. It would chew up a lot of your time for me to read through it, but our immediate demands include expanded workers' rights, including a living wage for all, and then there are some states specifics within that, which is the restoration of double time on Sundays for retail workers, end wage theft and punish criminal employers, keep job safety standards higher to prevent death and injuries, and end union busting while supporting strikes and worker mobilizations. We wish to tax the rich with a progressive income tax to make them pay for education, health care, and other social programs, and to repeal all taxes, fees, and tolls that shift the tax burden onto the working class. Also, we push for housing for all, expanded public housing programs, and to stop the criminalization of homelessness, and cash for keys programs, which are particularly dirty, and they're a slumlord eviction scheme. What happens with cash for keys is a landlord will basically come in and pay one of, A, B, C, or D number of tenants to vacate, and it doesn't affect the lease, but it leaves the remaining tenants left unable to pay the bills, so then they can flip the property or make it luxury or whatever other dirty trick they have.
Okay.
And we of course believe in socialized health care. We look to expand community health centers and of course free abortion and reproductive health.
Interesting. I never heard about that cash for keys thing. I heard of things similar. I've heard of landlords doing that in some cases. I didn't know how prevalent that was in your state.
Yes, it's the kind of thing that happens too, and I wish I had hard data right in front of me here, but I don't. But being a college town in the city, it makes sense that this sort of practice could be honed in on because of subletting and all that. But of course, it's not necessarily or generally going to be aimed at college students. It's aimed at the working class, and that's what these landlords and developers want to do is extract as much from you as they can, and then take the profit that they've earned from you while you pay their mortgage to flip the property into a luxury and charge, $3,500 a month. It's just grimy.
So it sounds like it's an exploitative
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. All landlording is exploitative by nature. It's someone buys the land and then the tenants pay the mortgage, and the landlord extracts the profits from the extra funds that are above and beyond what they actually owe. So it's passive income on stolen land, and it's very, very exploitative. Yes. And then
Interesting.
just a couple more things too.
Go for it.
I don't want to talk too much. We are police abolitionists. We're prison abolitionists.
Wow.
We are for the right to privacy, to increase the right to privacy, dismantling the high-tech police state, and to end the use of facial recognition tech and license plate scanners, things of that nature, where you can basically just, you're always being tracked. And we are a party, and some take this and they kind of go, we want to repeal and oppose gun laws that restrict the self-defense of working class and oppressed people. We are not an anti-gun party.
So like the Black Panthers then?
In a sense, yes, but I don't want to give myself an elevated sense of ego either.
Okay.
Comparing yourself to the Black Panthers, you're setting a pretty high bar, but their ideology shared a good amount of, I will say, but we are not the Black Panthers in the sense, and there are people out there who think of certain types of groups. We are not a militia. This is a political party.
Okay. So you do allow gun rights, yet at the same time you're not a militia.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gun nuts. We oppose really the gun laws in Massachusetts in particular are just so oppressive, and the police here have so much money, and the more the liberals push gun control, the more power they take away from the working class, and that's my take on why that's out there. So and of course with the Workers' Party too, this actually helps to lead in a bit to our political work. Is when we run candidates, we run on the shared platform. So if I quote something and it's from our party program, or if it's something that has been discussed internally, then it would be either every candidate is on board or you're not and don't run, because we run on this platform as the Workers' Party. We don't go out and put up, I don't go out in a tie and shake hands and kiss babies and pretend that I'm anything besides what I am, which is a socialist in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay. So given that, since you mentioned your party, if your candidates run for the party, they have to support the platform, would you call your party governing style democratic centralism, or how would you describe it?
We have a 5-person executive committee for decisions that would get up that high, but as of right now, we have generally agreed on pretty much everything.
Okay.
But as far as actual voting, yes, we do have a conference, and changes in the Constitution and the program and the platform do need to be voted on.
Okay.
We don't have it isn't a hierarchical type of, we have this person's in charge, this person is in charge when they're not here. There are members of the group that are more active than some. There are some of us that have a lot more knowledge of theory, some in practice. But say, if someone asks me a question on a certain type of political theory, and I didn't know, that's fine. I can defer to someone like Nick or Casey or Finn, and we can bounce things off of each other and support each other, because socialism is long written, long debated, long interpreted in different ways by different people, but running on the shared platform gives no room for people to question who we are and what we want. You say that, okay, there's a Workers' Party candidate. It's a Workers' Party candidate. You read the program, you've got the candidate. And we think that cohesion is the best way to spread the message of how we think independent politics move forward, if that makes sense.
Sure. So it's not like the Democratic Party where you have someone like Bernie Sanders and then you have someone who is a Blue Dog Democrat and then someone who's in the middle, someone like Bill Clinton, and then there's someone like Obama, and there's all these different people. You don't know if they're a Democrat where they stand. So it sounds like your party, if someone belongs to your party, you know where they stand. You don't have to wonder.
Correct. And I think it's an effective way to make sure that it's known that we are completely independent. And like you just said, that's the perfect example of one of the biggest issues within the Democratic Party. You have someone like Bernie Sanders, or someone like, we'll just use the president, someone like Joe Biden. They're the same. But the words that they speak when they're talking to the public, as we all know, over time, it essentially means nothing. They're going to do what they're paid to do by their biggest dollar donors, and that's just how it is. It's the same for the Republican side too.
Sure. So what types of activities does your party do to spread your message?
We do outreach within and outside of the Massachusetts left-wing circles, and we try to do outreach on a town-by-town type of level regarding housing rights, eviction defense. We are building a labor commission. We go out and we support strikes. We are working, of course, always working on police abolition, as that whole situation has just become such a over the top of almost everything besides, eco-social things. But the police issue right now is huge, and we've been doing a lot of that work lately.
So earlier you mentioned how there's different people who do different things in the party. So do you have a particular role in the party?
We don't have roles as in official titles, but there are people that you would go to for certain things. Say if someone asked me about a problem with a union, labor law. I would defer that to one of our union comrades, because I'm not currently in a labor union. So if someone asks me a labor question and I don't have the perfect answer or the right answer, I can easily defer that to someone that has more knowledge. So we're not, spouting off the whole, I know everything about everything, which is also is another problem in a lot of political type of circles, is people get arrogant. We try to keep it real and make sure no one gets bad info, basically. But we don't have official titles except for the executive committee. There's the chair and the vice and the treasurer, etc.
Okay. Sounds good. So kindly tell us what type of person you're looking for to join the party.
We are open to anyone who agrees with the ideology, and there are of course things that you would always want to avoid, certain types of toxicity, but that kind of thing you can never know. But yeah, we are an open organization. We're not sectarian, meaning if you're from another left-wing organization, you would be, kind of looked at in a different way. And of course, there are people that you don't want around at all, which are, of course, fascists, neo-Nazis, sexual predators, people who are members of the Democratic or Republican Party would not be allowed to be a member. We always hope to sway them for the right reasons, but just the things that you don't want in people's personalities, really, in any group. But those are the main things: is that you're on board with what the program says, and you are not a member of one of the major parties.
Sure.
And you're not a bigot or a sexist or any of that.
So somebody who is of a good mind, a good character, who supports your ideology and doesn't belong to one of the two parties.
That pretty much covers it. Yes, I mean there are of course going to be wild one-off things that no one could think of, but yes, that's a fair assessment for sure.
Sounds good. So how would you distinguish yourselves from other parties? You already discussed about distinguishing yourselves from the two major parties. How would you distinguish yourselves from socialist parties? Say somebody is a socialist and they want to join your party. How do they go through all the noise and figure out that your party is right for them?
Oh, well, the good thing about that is most people who call themselves a socialist and, are actually a socialist, not, a quote unquote democratic socialist, which is something else. It's very easy to reach out. We have several locals. They can get in touch with us through our site, through our Facebook pages, and we don't currently have, an impeded sit down and interview you type of thing. It's if you want to join the party and you are an active socialist and you agree with the program, you just send your contact info. You can fill out the party census, and dues are not required, but we would, it's of course hoped for, but we don't charge dues. We don't have a in-depth interview process where we sit you down in a room and try to grill you on what page Karl Marx wrote what in which book. You know, it isn't. There's none of that stuff. It's just like joining any of the major parties. You flip your voter registration, you submit a party census, and try to find a local and get involved.
Sounds good. So how can our audience support you and your party?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yes. How can our audience support you and your party?
Oh, fantastic question. The Workers' Party website is workerspartyma.nationbuilder.com. And in that site, you will find not only the party program, there's a link to join the Workers' Party, there's a link to donate, and we've got our statements and leaflets there, the party constitution, and our candidate pages. And of course, if you go onto everyone's favorite platform, Facebook, you can find us there, Workers' Party of Massachusetts.
Okay.
And you can follow the page and feel free to steal our memes.
So on Facebook, it's Workers' Party of Massachusetts.
Yes. I can give you the main links as well if you want. I can send you a list of all our contacts, so I'm not just rattling off a bunch of websites for your fans.
Okay.
But if you're on Facebook and you search Workers' Party of Massachusetts, it'll come right up.
Okay. Sure. If you want to send those over to me, I plan to put this up as soon as I can. So if you want to do that right away, that would be great, and then I can get to work on putting this up.
Doing it right now.
Awesome. That's perfect timing. So Brandon, thank you kindly for coming on the podcast today and talking about your party.
All right. Is there anything else that I can answer for you? Did you want to know about the recent election?
Sure, go for it. Talk about it.
And yes, I'll be quick. So we ran 3 candidates this year in 2022.
Good job.
Laura SAYLOR was a Senate candidate in Bristol, Norfolk County. I myself ran for state representative, which in Massachusetts is called General Court, and that's the Plymouth 7th District. There was no Democrat in that race, so it was a cool little experiment to see how many Democrats or people that normally vote for Democrats would vote for a further left-wing candidate, and it turned out pretty well. It was I got 25% of the vote.
That's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I was thrilled. And then Nick's campaign, DOMINIC GIANNONE, as state auditor was huge for us, and huge for third party politics, because that race, you hear state auditor, no one even knows what that is half the time. But that was a 5-person race with 5 parties.
Wow.
Which in itself is absolutely fantastic. And we barely missed official party status, which is required. You need 3% of the vote. We got about 2.6. So Nick got over 55,000 votes for an open socialist and an open socialist party in liberal Massachusetts. And there was also a Green candidate and a libertarian candidate. So that was really, really cool. And it was nice to see people paying attention. They went down that list and 55,000 of them picked the socialist. Pretty
Yes.
cool stuff. Yes.
Yes,
Very,
that's
very, very
impressive.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were very, very happy with this past election cycle.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like your party is gaining momentum very quickly.
Yes, and we hope to keep it rolling. Momentum is a funny thing, you know. So we're looking forward right now to 2024, and in the interim, we're trying to do some more mass movement work and get some of our individual cause caucuses off the ground, which is police abolition, housing, and labor, and
Sounds like a plan.
eco-socialist as well. So yeah, I'm excited. Things are moving quickly, but not at an overwhelming rate. So yeah, no, things are good. They can always be better. That's our goal, is to make this a better place.
Excellent. Brandon, we wish you well, and we thank you for coming on the podcast today. Keep up the good fight and keep improving.
Yes, absolutely. I really appreciate it. I'm going to send you all that info, so prepare for a wall of text.
All right, awesome.
Thank you so much.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.